Hi, welcome to Bill's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 2025 Kawasaki Ninja 1100 SX SE. This is really an amazing bike. It is really good, but there is some minor things that Kawasaki could have done better. For example, the chain on these bikes are a 525 chain, which is actually not big enough or heavy enough for this bike, for the weight and what you do. Now, the 525 can be probably more of something like for the ZX10R or something of that nature. It has been excessively stretching on me, so there's not much I can do about it until I get it worn out. Then I'm going to replace it with a 530 chain or whatever I can that's heavier and will last longer. But today what we're going to do is we're going to be doing chain maintenance on this. We're going to be cleaning the chain, getting it adjusted, and getting it ready for another 600 miles. I usually lube my chains after about 300 miles approximately, give or plus, just to make sure they stay well lubricated. You don't need to clean it every time, just keep an eye on it. If it's excessively dirty, then yeah, I would recommend cleaning it. I'm going to show you how to adjust it, how to check it, and whatnot. So after I get that done, you should be all set to go to actually get your chains adjusted, do it right, and so you make sure your bike is safe. Now, there's been a lot of questions about what brand of chain lube you should use and whatnot, but the best chain lube I have found is by Motul. This here is Chain Lube Road Long Life, and I used to use the racing lube when I was racing road, and which is a very good lube as well. A little more expensive, but for a street bike, probably don't need it. But I used to buy it by cases, so that's what I ran either on the track or on the street. Now, when it comes to cleaning a chain, there's been a lot of different things that I've seen out there that say how to do it. I've got 61 years working on go-karts, cars, motorcycles, you name it, I've got it. But the best thing I've found through other experts that I've talked to is kerosene, because it is oil-based. It does a good job of cleaning, and I usually use a toothbrush to do it with because I can get into everywhere I need to on the chain, make sure it's done right. Now, it takes a little longer to do this, but make sure it gets done correctly. So with that said, I'm going to stop the film for just a moment while I get everything adjusted so I can show you how to do it. All right, I'm back. Thank you. Okay, now this is the kerosene that I use. I picked this up at Home Depot. It's been quite a while because it lasts a long time. But if you want to do it, you can pick it up there. But I recommend looking for kerosene to clean your chains with. And what I do is I put it in a small can like this so that I can put it in a pan underneath where I'm cleaning. And that way I can move forward. Now, normally I will not move this cover because I don't clean under here a whole lot, but we can do that today so we can show you. All right. See, there is some goo. There is some goo in there, so we'll go ahead and clean that up. But you can see the metal going around it. So it usually stays pretty much out of the way, but we will go ahead and clean it today since we're doing a full maintenance on the chain. Oh, wait a minute here. Oh, excuse me. Get one of my other rags here. Alrighty. Now the idea behind doing this is you're going to want to go one direction. I usually place a towel down on the table so that I can don't drip any of this on the table. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over your whole chain like this, get in between the links, just like that. Try and keep it off your tire as much as possible because you don't want that on there. Go over the top of the chain, get all that. Just like that. Do your bottom. And then get behind it, doing the same thing. Now you may get a little splatter, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. And just keep going, and then you're going to do the whole chain like this. Now the reason kerosene is used, it's so oil-based, so it will not hurt your O-rings or your X-rings in the chain. See, that chain comes out really clean with it. If you get any on your tires, make sure you wipe it off real good and wipe it down. Okay, now as the clean part of the chain gets to the rear sprocket, you're going to want to start cleaning that as well too while you're doing the chain. So now that we're at the sprocket, we're going to start cleaning that. So you don't have a whole lot of room, so you're going to move it a little bit, get some more of the sprocket. Make sure you get it real good. Okay. And you just keep going around just like that. See, we can't move it a whole lot, so all right, so we're going to clean some more of the sprocket. Now a lot of guys do this with rags, but I'll tell you what, you catch your fingers once or twice, you know not to do that. This works just as well. Just takes a little more time and a little more effort, but you get a really good job on it. And you just keep going, just like that there, until you get it done. Now, your sprockets, you'll get them clean. They'll be fully clean before you do the full part of the chain. So once that's complete, you're okay. And just go back over to your chain once you get to a dirty part of the chain over your drip pan or whatever you use, and get it cleaned up. Just like that. All right, so I'm going to stop this for a little bit while I finish up the rest of the chain, but you can see what I'm doing here right now. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll get back on when I get to the next step. Okay, we've got the chain clean now. I've got the cover cleaned, as you can see. I would recommend, cleaning it with kerosene as well. If you still have a little residual that's hard to get out of there, use something like a flash cleaner. I use Prep All, It's for cleaning grease and stuff off before you're doing paint. It's not really hard on anything, and it does a really nice job. So now that we've got the chain done, I can put the cover back on. But before I do that, once you get the chain clean, you're going to take a towel. Now, I use a stand to put it on so that I can roll the wheel and so forth, which it also is good for adjusting the chain, which we'll get into in just a moment. So, but what I do is I put my arm against this so that I can rotate the tire and dry the chain off as much as possible with the towel. Both the sides go all the way around, and then on the top of the chain as well. Okay, and then using the outside, you're going to go against the sprocket. You don't want to go put it in there and try and wrap around it. You're going to get hurt. And then you want to dry off the sprocket the same way, both sides, inside and out. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that cover back on since we've got it cleaned up and ready to go. Oh, still got a little bit of grease on there I missed. All right. Okay. Let's get that back in there. Okay. Perfect. Get the holes lined up. Good enough. Go ahead and get our top screw in first. Now we're just going to lightly snug it so we get the others in. Okay. Yeah, because see, it's kind of holding the wires back, so they're a little bit difficult. Let's get the other one here. All right, let's get that last one in there. Yeah, it's a little slippery with the glove. I think we got it though. Yep. All right. Now we can tighten it up. Now these are torqued, but if you're comfortable, because you have a good feel, then I would say you would be good to go because they don't require a whole lot of torque. All right, we got our cover back on. Now what we want to do now is we want to check our chain adjustment. Now, I believe that there are tools out there, but the best tool I've found for it is just using a caliper. Now, your manuals are going to tell you what your chain slack should be. Most bikes that I've seen are usually 0.8 to 1.2 inches. Now, on this bike here, right here in the swinging arm, it has that data. I believe, let me see here. Yep, chain information. 25 to 35 millimeters, 1.0 to 1.4 on this bike. So I usually will set it at about 1.2, kind of like right in between, because you don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose. If your chain becomes too loose, it'll start whipping. And if it whips, you can break your chain as well as probably several components of your engine. If you're unlucky, if you're lucky, it'll just drop off on the ground. So what you want to do is you're going to go to the middle, about the middle of the chain between the two sprockets, the countershaft sprocket and the rear sprocket, and you want to measure the height. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up on it just a little bit of pressure. You put your caliper there, and then you pull it down. Okay? And you check it in several different places, because you want to adjust at the tightest point of the chain. Okay, right now it looks like my chain is pretty good at 1.2. I got a few loose spots, but not bad. So looks like we are good to go. I don't have to make an adjustment on the chain. Now, a lot of bikes on the swing arm will have little blocks with lines in it. Let me see if I can show you that real quick. Give me just a moment. I'm going to turn the camera for a minute. Okay, so if you're looking at the rear sprocket, you're going to see this block right here, and you'll see lines in it. And you'll see lines on the swing arm itself. You have them on both sides. So what you want to do is you want to make sure these marks are identical on each side of the swinging arm. Now, some bikes I had on my Suzuki's, they had a flat backside to the swing arm, and both blocks were the same thickness. So it made it real easy, because then I could use this part of the caliper, or the vernal calipers, to set the depth to make sure it's even. Then once you're done, you're going to look down the sprocket toward the countershaft sprocket to make sure that chain is lined up. I mean, if you're a couple thousandths off, you're not going to worry about it. It's a street bike. It's not a racing machine, though this is designed off a racing machine. So you want to make sure that chain is lined up and straight as possible to it. You can use the marks here as well to make sure they're both equal on both sides. Alrighty. So since we don't need to adjust the chain, I'm not going to have to do any of that. But normally, anytime you do, you always want to make sure to use a new cotter pin. I usually bend them like this, and I'll bring the outside one up and tuck it into the axle itself, so that way it doesn't hook on anything. So since we don't really need to do that, I'm going to go ahead and show you now how I oil the chain. Okay, so I will use that same pan, and then I use a piece of cardboard for backing, and I will stick that up in there like this, and I'll have to hold it up so I can do it. And then I will take my chain lube. Make sure you shake it up real good. Now this here, you don't want to ride it immediately after you oil the chain. You want to let it set at least a couple hours, or maybe a little bit more. Personally, I let it set overnight, let it harden up. It has a good coating on the chain, and it will go quite a while. I mean, I re-oil every 300 miles, as I said, but you want to at least check it after every about 300 miles. Book recommends 600 miles. I don't go by that. I always want to make sure I've got a good wet chain. Now, Scott has an oiling system that works electronically, or by vacuum that will actually drop. It comes down here to the rear sprocket, just over the chain. You mount it onto your swing arm, and it'll drop oil on there to keep it wet, which is really good for long trips. So let's go ahead and get going to oil the chain. Now, usually there's a blue dot on this chain somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe wore off. There's a little mark right there we can use. Okay, so you want to keep it away from the tire as much as possible. So you're going to start in the back and work your way forward. Make sure you get in the links and in between them. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and go back down the other side and then go up along the rollers. You want them wet. Move your tire. Now see, it's going to drip, but that's okay. That's why you have the rag down here. Okay, do it, and you just go that way until you get the whole chain lubed. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, since I've shown you how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and stop it because it takes a few minutes to do this. And then we will go ahead and continue on. Okay, we got the chain lube now, so that is complete. So you can see that there's excess on the sides of the chain. You don't want to get the rollers of the chain, but you do want to try and get some of the sides off. Just a little, not a whole lot. So you're going to run the chain around. Just like that, and take off that excess on the side. That'll help it keep it from slinging. And that is how you take care of your chain. Now, as you see, I've got a lift table here and a jack stand. Both of these make it really easy, especially us old men doing this kind of work. And you really do want a jack stand. It makes it a whole lot easier for oiling your chain as well as checking it and adjusting it rather than trying to roll it back and forth on the floor. Now, with a jack stand, you can do this on the floor. You know, younger people, probably not a big deal. For us older people, that lift table just makes it tremendously better. Now, if anybody in the Phoenix area would like me to help them with their vehicle, I would be happy to do that. I will leave my email address in the link. You can email me if you would like me to give you a hand with it or maybe need me to do some work on it. We can definitely do that. If you like these videos, I ask you to let me know, and I will continue doing them. Again, thank you for joining me at Bill's Garage. And I hope you enjoyed what I gave you, and hopefully it will help you out when you do your chains. Thank you very much for watching. You have a blessed day.